Hello guys out there, welcome again to another episode of the Achievers Podcast. As usual, it's me Charles and
Tulani Masama.
Yeah. So today it is daily we go shopping, wherever we go shopping. We experience bad service.
But not always bad. At times it's excellent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not always bad, exactly like you said. But these are things that I believe are things that can be avoided. And I think it has to do with the recruitment process, identifying the right people who can deliver on that. So we are talking about personality. So we are going to focus on the 5 top characteristics to identify the best employees. People who will be able to pursue the goals of an organization and achieve them. Anything you want to add on to that, Mr. Masama?
Yes, it is very important because services are affected by the people who offer them. So people become a very important ingredient in the quality of the service that we consume at a restaurant, at an airline, if you are at a gym or any other place that you go.
Exactly.
The quality of service has to do with the skills, it has to do with the attitude.
Mm.
So we tend to develop relationships with certain places. Why? Because of people who give us the service. They're the people who are the ones who save us.
Yeah.
So I would like to go to a certain hairdressing because the barber is very friendly. Okay, the guy who does the cutting of my, it may not be the place itself.
Mm.
Okay, so I may want to patronize a certain restaurant because of the attitudes of the people who are there. So skills, attitudes are very, very important, and we'll talk about the qualities and characteristics one by one, which are important in as far as identifying the right people that can make an organization successful.
Just to echo on that, recently I upped the e-learning, one of the e-learning transport, and when I picked up, so when I requested, it showed me that 2 minutes for the driver to arrive, and then along the way, instead of dropping the minutes were going up, so I ended up confused. But anyway, he then popped up, I think after 5 minutes, but initially it said 2 minutes. So when I opened the door to go into the car, the driver, I said, "Hi, how are you?" Greeted him warmly, with respect, and I said to him, I was a bit confused because the minutes were going up instead of going down. And he said to me, so rudely, he said, do you want to go or you don't want to go? And I said, why would you say this? He said, no, I'm just asking you. You should be thankful that I'm here. So that kind of attitude really, it turned me off, and we ended up cancelling the trip. So this is the kind of character that we're talking, that organization can avoid that, because this is a lost sell, because my cancellation was a lost sell. So in the long run, it turns away, it eliminates the element of customer loyalty. So this is what we're going to be talking about. The first character that we would like to talk about is empathy. Can you break down that one, Mr. Masama? Empathy.
When you talk of empathy, you are talking about that ability of an individual to put themselves in one's position, in one's shoes. Okay, so for example, the example that we've just given now about the driver, if we can turn things around and say, if it was the driver receiving that kind of treatment, how were they going to feel?
Exactly.
So if we place ourselves in positions like that, where we question ourselves and say, what I'm doing, is it the right thing? If I was the one who was going to be on the receiving end, was it going to be good?
Yeah.
So we need people with empathy, people who can feel on behalf of the customers. Why is the customer here? Customers are there because they want to satisfy their needs.
Exactly.
And it takes the service personnel or the frontline individuals, those who meet and those who converse with the customers, to understand.
Yeah.
They have to put themselves in the shoes of the customer to say, if this guy is here, if he's treated the way that I'm treating him, if it was going to be myself, how would I feel? That gives you a sense of changing, your attitude and try to be friendly, try to give this customer the kind of treatment that they deserve.
A reason to come back again tomorrow.
And remember, they are paying for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they are paying for this, and they will feel that I'm treated very well as a result of being in the front of sales personnel who are empathetic. Okay, so you need to be a good listener. Yeah,
Exactly.
you need to be a good listener. You need to give an ear to why the customer is here. There is every reason that you need to, at certain times, keep quiet.
Yeah,
Okay?
yes.
Yeah, because you can't give me, you can't be in my position if you don't know why I am here.
Yeah, exactly.
So for you to be empathetic,
You need
it
to
means
understand.
you must understand. To understand, you must listen. So we need to converse. Yeah, we need to talk to each other as customers and salespeople,
Yeah.
so that we'll be able to deliver solutions
That suits.
the particular customer, not what we can do,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
why is the customer coming to us?
So, and one other thing that many people take for granted is the repercussions, the end result of such behavior. Because if we are talking of people, remember it is more expensive to acquire a new customer than to retain.
Perfect. It is said that it's about 10 times, it costs 10 times more to create a new business as compared to just keeping what is there. And because remember, a satisfied customer becomes a proponent, they become an ambassador of the organization. So they do work for you, they give you referrals for free,
Exactly.
they give you new other customers
Yeah.
without you investing anything, no advertisements, no
You don't pay them and
Yeah.
they don't even want to pay.
no free meals
Yeah.
offered,
Uh-uh.
no promotions. These guys will do the work for you. So customer life value is the amount of revenues, the stream of revenues that a customer will give you during their lifetime.
Yeah.
So if I buy from organization X today, and then I come back tomorrow until maybe I'm dead. So how much am I going to contribute? So this is what organizations are supposed to be aiming for,
Exactly.
to make sure that we lock in. As long as the
Yes.
customer buys from us today,
Yes.
we're not going to lose them.
We don't lose them,
Don't
and
lose
they
them.
go and become our own
Ambassadors.
voluntary sales rep.
Exactly. They become
Because
ambassadors.
if you look at it, let's be very practical. Recently, I mean, for you, if you're buying something, maybe you want to buy a car, what would be your source of advice?
Obviously, the people who are very close to me, yeah, because I've seen them driving
Yes,
cars,
exactly.
I know the brand that they drive.
Exactly.
So if I'm interested in a brand X, I'll ask them, how is this car?
Yeah.
I've seen you with this thing for the last 5 years. How is it doing?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I trusted them. Okay, so the element of trust, because
Their
it's
opinion
people-
is not paid; it's organic.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
people that who are very close to me.
Yeah.
So whatever suggestion they give, I tend to take them seriously.
Exactly.
As compared to somebody that I don't know. A sales rep who is just there to make money from
Yeah.
me.
It's
So
paid statement.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is very different because
There's no motive hidden.
exactly
monetary motive.
they are people who have tried the product, who are satisfied. They've got reasons. They've got evidence
Yeah.
that this is the right service or the right product that I must purchase.
So it is very important always, guys, to think beyond the actual sale, the actual transaction, and look at the future. Especially if you look at the kind of target audience that we are targeting, which are who are the entrepreneurs, people who are starting businesses. So your future does not depend on you making money today. It depends with the future. So if you're able to retain the customers that you have managed to acquire, you save a lot of money and you guarantee your future. And the next characteristic we're going to look at is flexibility.
To be flexible is very important, and I would say flexibility has to do with the ability of the worker or the frontline staff to be able to deal with the different situations as they arise. They don't have to be rigid. Okay, things change. Like the example that you gave me now when you're talking about this taxi service that you used.
Exactly.
Okay, things changed. Maybe it's the technology that was wrong. And this driver was supposed to come and pick you up. If they're flexible person, they were flexible. They could have used the app. I think the app has got functions where they can start communicating with you. Okay. It's flexibility. You need to tell the rider, the customer, that something has changed here. Please, can you wait for me? There is suddenly maybe police officer
Just
in front.
keep me in the loop.
Yeah, maybe I've been flagged down by a police officer. Please give me 2-3 minutes. I'll be there, because they cannot run away from the police. Because at first, surely it was saying 3 minutes, and then it went on to 5 minutes. It could be something that is beyond their control.
Influence,
Exactly. So to be flexible has to do with having that age or that sense of agency, where you are saying the customer must be served at whatever cost.
As long as they are happy.
As long as they are happy. I've heard of stories of individuals who went out of their way.
Out of the normal procedure.
Exactly. So the norms of the organizations at certain times can be broken. Not
in pursuit of satisfying a given need of
the customer. Exactly. So not in the wrong way, but in the better way. You can break the norms, you can break the rules to make a customer happy. And I've heard of,
it pays,
I've heard of cases where individuals were awarded, they were given like Work of the Year award as a result of breaking the laws. They did something that nobody expected. And
as much as it was not prescribed in the organization.
Exactly. So the most important thing is also the organization, the guys at the top, the bosses, must allow for this kind of behavior. Exactly. Because if you punish people for trying, then you've got a problem. If you are going to be having a very big problem. Yeah.
And then the next one that we're going to look at is courtesy.
Okay. Courtesy has to do with the friendliness of your personnel. So many times you walk into a restaurant, you are walking into a service outlet, and you are greeted with a smile. Okay.
Yes.
The staff is smart. And
presentable.
Presentable.
Yeah.
And this is also one important thing that organizations have to do to make sure that their personnel is well dressed. Exactly. So the provision of uniforms and all that. So courtesy has to do with the friendliness of the staff. I know some people are not good smilers, but as long as you are going to be working with people as a frontline personnel, you are expected to greet people with respect, to smile. During your hours at work, it's part of your
work. And it
smile.
Doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be that electric smile. It needs to be a decent smile that has got genuine intentions. Yeah.
It all boils down to your character as well. Because some people will show that this is a wooden smile, they are forced to smile.
Or the plastic one, the plastic one.
Yeah, plastic, wooden, still the same thing. It's like it's forced. So when it's forced, customers can see that this is not a genuine smile. So we need to be employing people who understand, friendliness. Okay, that even if you are asked a stupid question by the customers, there's that old adage which says customer is king. You need to give customers the right kind of answers. You need to give them respect in each and everything that they are going to be saying or asking or requesting from you. Yes. So that's what I can say about courtesy.
And then while it's on that one, there is, and I remember at one point I was working in a restaurant.
Yes.
So we had some guys that we know who were our patrons, guys who would come every day. So these guys, when you greet them, you would greet them by name.
Okay.
Welcome, Mr.
Yeah, I think it's
the same
thing. That's what we find even in education, where teachers should know the whole clan, the whole class. Yeah, exactly. You must know them by their names.
So sometimes that distinction of actually saying, hello, Mr. So and so, as long as you know them and you're sure of the name, don't make mistakes actually, because if you pronounce it wrong. If you are not sure, don't mention the name. So that one I think we addressed it. And then we go to the next one, is honesty.
Yes. Honesty is a very important. It all starts because you see, if you look at honesty, it starts from the top of the business.
Yes, exactly.
The values. When you are recruiting, there are certain values that has to do with integrity. Okay, so organizations that values integrity, or whose organizations whose values including integrity definitely must emphasize honesty on their employees. Employees have got dealings that they do on behalf of the company, and there are certain things, they've got certain opportunities that can end up creating advantages which employees can capitalize on. Okay, instead of saying that this is not supposed to be personal, this is supposed to be company business, people can end up benefiting. Okay, so we can talk of errors, for example. Maybe a customer leaves a wallet. It's a restaurant.
In a restaurant.
Exactly. They leave something.
There are many cases like that.
Exactly. So honesty is very, very important. It could be a case of change. Okay, a certain customer makes a mistake. They leave their change. They didn't collect it. And you don't call them. You don't keep it aside. Okay. All that is a very big problem, because at the end of the day, even if the meal was good at a restaurant, you didn't give somebody their 50 cents change, they will not like to come back again. They will never trust you, because honest builds trust. If you are not honest, I can't trust you. And when I can't trust you, I can't keep on meeting you. I can't come back to your organization to do business with you, because I know you may be taking advantage of me. Yes.
And then the next one is it has to do with the ability to communicate.
Communication or communicating.
Good communication.
It has to do with being able to send signals and decoding signals. So we communicate in different ways.
Yes.
It's not just words. It is actually said that 90% of the communications that we do on a daily basis is non-verbal. Exactly. So which
includes your body language.
Your body language.
Facial expression.
The way you move your eyes. The way you move your body. Your smiles and your frowning, everything is a collection of communication signals that are supposed to be decoded by the one whom they are directed to. So if you are a salesperson, a service personnel, you should be able to read signals to say, no, this customer is not happy, even if they didn't say it. They are a very good employee, a very good waiter, can actually say that no, those guys are complaining before they even
before they mention anything.
Exactly.
You can see that these guys, they are not happy.
Those are communication skills. Before they go on Twitter, before they go on the platform to evaluate and give you stars,
and reviews.
You should be, those reviews, you should be able to say, I saw it, I saw the signs.
And you see, funny enough that you've talked about social media. This is the most dangerous situation that we're existing in is entrepreneurs and whatever business that we do, because social media is a voice for anybody has got the voice to
say anything,
to make you famous in the wrong
or
reason.
They can break you.
They can break you or make you. So it is very important for us to take these values seriously, because the damage is quite big. And imagine extinguishing a flame that has been ignited on social media. You can't control it.
You don't have
control
over it. Yes.
And the last one that we have on our list today is open to learning.
We learn every day, and it is said that if you cease to learn, then you cease to exist.
Exactly.
So the best employees are those ones who are always willing to learn. And learning doesn't mean you learn from within the company only. You can also learn from your customers. Customers can give you suggestions.
Exactly.
And you can learn from them. You can build it up, and it becomes something that will be valuable to the organization. So learning
to your life,
because learning builds up to how open you are to other people. Do you listen? Like we say, we're talking about communication just a few minutes ago.
Do you accept criticism?
It's like criticism, and it is also the duty of the organization to make sure that they don't just want to bring into the organization employees who do not criticize them, because from criticism that's where we learn new things. So you learn new things as a result of people having complimented you or complained. And if an organization gives people the freedom to try new things, so if you've got your workers and you give them, you empower them, you allow them to try new things for the better of the organization, and you don't punish for mistakes. But at the same time, we tend to fold our hands and not do anything. Why? Because if I make a mistake, I'm going to be reprimanded. The boss is going to give me a warning. But when the environment allows for mistakes, definitely individuals within the organization will try things, and whatever they try and succeed, it becomes an advantage to the organization. Yes. So organizations have to give the freedom. The bosses, there should be a culture that encourages learning. Okay, a culture that encourages mistakes. Yeah, because
and openness in terms of criticizing, despite who did it, who did the mistake. Yeah.
Yes.
And now we've talked about all these characters, and it is very important that we identify these characters. How best can a company identify these characters within the recruiting process?
There are quite a number of tests that can be done. Okay, so there are psychological tests. It is the mistake that we make is, in most cases, we just look at the CVs and then we forget about the actual person. So you look at a CV, maybe it's a one-page document or a two-page. It doesn't matter.
It's one of those most beautiful things.
It's well done, well crafted. It has all the information that you need. Lots of skills listed, lots of qualifications listed, years of experience listed. And we think that's important. When you are recruiting, after you've collected CVs from the potential candidate, there's still room for you to narrow down and funnel down your pool of candidates so that you won't make a mistake of bringing the wrong people into the organization. So tests, for example, putting people in situations where they can be tested on a real situation, real life situation, in conditions in which they're going to be working.
Whereby you call them in for a day or so, or what?
We have got quite a number of tests can be done. There are psychometrics. Okay, psychometric tests, for example, they will show you one's capabilities to deal with
situations,
different situations.
Give them a scenario.
Yeah, give them a scenario. You can give them even a simple task, and then you will see their attitudes toward their work. You also see, do they have the skills which they listed on the CV. So, for example, a simple arithmetic question: 1 + 7 = 8. So, what is 2 + 3? Just that can actually confuse somebody, and somebody who has got the skills who is able to deal with numbers, they should be able to come up with a solution. So there are quite a number of ways that you can do it. You can also do some form of role plays for those kind of positions where individuals are going to be working maybe as a group. You put them in teams, and then you see, I remember there is, I think, I may not mention the name, but it's an American airline. They say when they are recruiting people, they recruit them as a team. Yeah, so when they give them time to make presentations, and each and every team. Exactly. So each member
in the team.
Yeah, each member of the team is given. So they are recruiting people, and all the potential candidates are put in teams, and then you are made to present as a team. Okay, so individually, if each and every one of you is to say something, so at the end, they will recruit the person who is a team person. How do they do it? In most cases, when we are given a position, so when we are placed in positions where we are competing, you know what to do? You always want to get the job.
To be the one who is outperforming.
Exactly. So it is said that in one situation, they actually gave a job to somebody who was clapping and cheering for somebody who was making a presentation. Okay, and they said this is the person who has to be given the job.
That's very, 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 very smart.
Yeah.
Because the person is not selfish.
Exactly. So he's a team player, and they are capable of seeing where other people are doing good, and they can learn from the good
and appreciate.
And they can actually correct as well. We are making a mistake. They can chip in and say, no, we are doing things wrongly, and that's what teamwork is all about. So it is the duty of the organizations to make sure that in recruitment they identify such kind of traits. In sports, they use. I think they also do the same thing. There is a word. A French word is called connoisseur. Okay, so a connoisseur is somebody who is good at tasting wines and identifying the best. Okay, so they say in human resources management in organizations, when you want to have the best people, you must have a connoisseur of talent, meaning somebody who is capable of identifying talent. Experience may not be important, but
so we are talking of the HR practitioner.
Exactly. So there are individuals within the organization who are bringing in people. They have to bring the best quality. So they should be able to identify. Okay, I was talking about sports, for example. For an organization, okay, a football team A to be better than football team B. You know how they do it? They compete for talent when it is still raw. So if you go to football clubs like Chelsea, for example, they compete with all the other clubs in the world to go and identify kids who are still learning to kick the ball. So they look at the attitude, they look at the interest. Yeah, so listen to this. Once we identify the best talent when it is still raw, when we take the best, and our competitor is going to take the second best, and our other competitor is going to take the third, fourth best, we have already beaten them to the game.
Because we have got the top.
We have got them, exactly. So you can actually become a good organization by being able to identify talent when it's still raw. That's why you see organizations like the tech organizations from the US, they go into schools. They scout in schools. So your Googles and all that, they're competition for kids. Okay, kids who are still very young, and they run these competitions for coding and developing software development and all that. And these, once you get them when they are young, your competitor is going to take the second best, the third best, and surely they can't compete. So what does it mean? It means that when you go to the market, when you present your products or services, you have already won. So competition is not when you put your products side by side in a supermarket or when you've got a restaurant here and there's a restaurant next door. Competition happens in the boardroom where we can beat our competitor before we even go to the market. So if we can identify the best, we've already won. So it's a delayed measure. When you go into the field, we are just fulfilling what you've said.
But we have victory.
We already know what is happening. Okay.
And again, on that one also, if you identify these guys when they've got raw talent, I think it creates loyalty to the organization. Then they will be able to appreciate that you appreciated me when I had nothing. So I don't know. That's my take.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible because it also, you see, when you recruit, the process of human resource management, which is well tied to what we're talking about today, it has to do with identifying talent, and then you need to maintain it, which includes remuneration, it includes training, motivation and all that. Exactly. You need to do the right thing as an organization in order to keep it, because they will not stay if they are offered something better next door. So when you identify them as raw, when they're still young, it's still good. But what kind of strategy do you put in place to make sure that they stay motivated? You upgrade them, you upskill them, you develop them to become the best of who they can be. So for them to be loyal, it may not just be a case of saying, this is where I worked first, but it may be as a result of the culture of the company.
I was relating to the appreciation of raw talent, because sometimes it's not easy to break through. Remember when we first left college and you are looking for a job and they are telling you of 10 years experience, they want somebody who is already molded. So giving them an opportunity from that raw state whereby you identify and appreciate who they are and be able to give them a platform to leap into the future. So I think it means a lot. And then we've spoken so much about the employees, the guys who are in the forefront of service delivery. But there is a saying that says, let's talk about the customer cycle failure, whereby now we're talking from an angle of the employer. These characters that we have mentioned, they only don't apply to the employee, they also apply to the employer.
You see, in terms of this, the cycle of failure, what normally happens is when an organization, when the bosses are not good and they're treating their employees bad, you don't expect the employees to do the opposite. So where the workers are not well cared for, where they are not loved, where they are not looked after, they will extend, their own misery, their own treatment, the bad treatment to the customers. And then when the customer is not happy, the customer is not going to come back, they're going to spread the wrong word, so the negative word about this organization. So it becomes a cycle.
Perception,
So the whole institution and its surroundings are going to be,
The name is going to be sold.
it's going to be soiled and it will continue to crumble. So that's what we refer to as the cycle of failure. Okay, so it will continue. So it starts from the top. It's a culture that the bosses establish within the organization. They don't value anyone, and then obviously the workers, when they see customers, they don't value the customers. And the customers, when they are not valued, they vote with their feet. They will go to where they are valued. Yeah,
That's very true.
yeah, they will go to
They
where
vote
they are
with their pockets.
with their feet in pocket. They will say, okay, organization X is better than organization C. So I would rather invest and support that other organization. I will leave the current suppliers.
So that's what we are saying as employers. So the environment does not. There is not only one player in this environment of creating a good characteristics. So everybody
Is everyone within the organization.
Exactly.
We all play.
The empathy.
It's not the marketing.
It's also the boss.
Yeah, it's not just the marketing department. It's not the reception.
Operations.
Yeah, it's the operations. Just try to think of an organization like a restaurant, for example. There are quite a number of departments involved in making a customer happy.
Exactly.
Okay, so of course, yes, we blame the waiter who is going to bring the food. But what of the person who prepared the food?
Yeah.
What of the person who
Because
brought
if he not prepared the food, we wouldn't be saving it.
and if they prepare it wrongly,
Then
the customer is going to complain.
So, yeah, it's going to come back.
Okay, we can still go down the line. What of the person who bought the ingredients? You bought vegetables that are not fresh, and then we are making a salad, and customers are going to complain. I say, so it's everyone within the whole system, and it goes also to the person who brought that person who is not able to perform their work. So the HR is in this, the procurement is in this, the marketing department, the receptionist, the operations, and everyone else. So it is a game which we urge as trainers and business people to say, if you are to run a business successfully, it makes sense to make sure that everyone within the organization has to take a part. Yeah, they have to be responsible, and it's something that if you do right, it will pay in the long term.
Yeah,
So customer loyalty is as a result of a lot of efforts that go in the background of the operations of an organization.
So the repercussions, or let's put it this way, the benefits of you having the right people and you creating the right environment is business sustainability. Because sometimes the secret of business success is not, like we said, let's look at the benefits of having the right things in position in terms of character from both sides. You retain your customers, which is customer loyalty. So you spend more on advertising and then less on taking in. And you retain your employees, which is the more they stay, the better they're able to understand the organizational system and the customers that we deal with as an organization. And you talk of rejects. Rejects are less because these people, if we have retained them for the past 10 years, we still have them. They're able to deliver a product that is top-notch, hence we have got less waste.
Less problems in the
Exactly.
organization, yeah.
And less customer, the soiling of the name is less and all that. So I think for today, that's what we have for you guys. We have been talking about the characteristics of having the best people to do the job, and also the boss. How can you be best to your employees and to your customers? Because remember, if your employees are not happy, they will pass it on to the customers. And today we're going to close off with something. There's something that we're introducing. We are sharing wisdom. Today's wisdom says, in business, the only legal and sincere thank you is equitable remuneration. So the only way to thank people, your employees, and make them happy is to equitably remunerate.
Pay them.
Pay them.
Pay them is not just money. Okay,
Exactly.
So there is we've got monetary rewards. We also have got
Emotional
non-monetary rewards. So if you are going to give your employees a package, a holiday package, okay, maybe you pay for their what you call it, your insurance, medical aid, and all that.
Or funeral policy.
Exactly, all those kind of extras. Thank you so much, guys. It was a wonderful time having you. Hope to see you soon again.
Yeah, and from us, the achievers, we keep on encouraging you to achieve more. So if you've got a story to tell, be it an innovation and anything that you think could add value to other people's efforts in trying to emancipate themselves economically. Let's empower them. Share your story. You can get hold of us on all the social media that we are found on, which is Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. So drop the comments. And to those guys who have had the terrible customer experience wherever you have shopped and you want to relate to what we have been discussing today, please share in the comment section and tell us what was the real problem and how did you manage to get rid of it and how did it affect you.
Thank you.